Okay, so today's video we are going to do a tour of some of Niagara's haunted locations and also some places where you can do ghost walks here in the Niagara region. Myself personally, I've been involved in the paranormal for almost 20 years. I've investigated places like the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Waverly Hills Sanatorium, West Virginia State Penitentiary, the Central Terminal over in Buffalo, and one of my favorite places to investigate in Buffalo, Iron Island Museum. Alright, if you guys are ready to get spooky, then get your traveling shoes on, because our next adventure is about to get a little haunted. Okay, our first stop on our Niagara haunted tour. Some of you may recognize this tunnel from the movie The Dead Zone. Other people may recognize this tunnel as the Screaming Tunnel. This has been a very haunted location, as some people claim, over the years. The story is that a little girl ran through here one night with her hair on fire and died. So some people believe it is a true story, some people believe it's more folklore. So use your judgment. One thing when coming down to the Screaming Tunnel, even in the daytime or the night, this place does get a lot of people down here. There are people that are hiking, also people that are curious, so just be very mindful when you come down to the Screaming Tunnel. Now, one of the legends, or folklores, or whatever you would like to call it, is when you get about halfway through this tunnel, you will light a match, and apparently the spirit of the little girl will blow the match out. Now, well, it's a possibility. I'm not saying no, but the thing you have to also remember too when walking through this tunnel, and I've been down here numerous times to do EVP sessions, ghost box sessions, even some nighttime photography, there's always, to me, a breeze blowing through here. So it may be true, it may be not. So use your own judgment. Now, once you leave the Screaming Tunnel, you do have 3 pathways. The reason why I'm bringing this up, according to folklore, there was a house back here somewhere, which I've been trying to find for the last few years. The only thing that remains, I believe, is the foundation. So the story goes that the father set the daughter's hair on fire, and then she came running down this way through the tunnel screaming. So that's possibly one way this tunnel did get its name, the Screaming Tunnel. Now, walking through the Screaming Tunnel, just be very mindful. It is a rocky pathway, so just be careful with your footing when going through the Screaming Tunnel. I'm just finding odd, this was never here before, but somebody has placed a tombstone inside the Screaming Tunnel. Okay, when you get to the end of Butler's Road, this is where you're going to park. Just park to the side, and then from there it is a very short walk over to Colonel Butler's gravesite, which I've been trying to get entry, but there's always been a gated fence up there. So let's take a walk and see what we can find. Well, this is the first. Every time I have come up here over the years, this was always gated off, padlocked, and there was no way to gain entry into where Colonel Butler was buried. So looks like I might be coming back to do a little EVP session, maybe a little ghost box session. But do be mindful, there are houses all along here. All right, our first stop in Niagara Lake is going to be St. Mark's Church here. The cemetery attached to it dates back into the 1800s. This is a place I've been up here on numerous occasions to do EVP sessions, ghost box sessions, and even some night vision photography, which you get some really cool pictures. Okay, right across the street is the Princess Wales Hotel, opened up in 1864. It is another haunted location here on Niagara-on-the-Lake. What I would suggest would be to find the most haunted room, spend the night, take a voice recorder with you, and see what happens. So yeah, definitely there's a lot of history with the Princess of Wales Hotel. All right, another very haunted location, the Angel Inn. Definitely drop in, say hello to Captain Swayze. He still haunts this place till this very day. So once again, you know, it is kind of hard to do paranormal investigations here, but what I would suggest would be to rent a room, try to find out what is the most haunted room here at the Angel Inn, spend the night, place a couple of voice recorders, hit record, and see what you can find. And make sure you say hello to Captain Swayze. Alright, when you're down here in Niagara-on-the-Lake, like I said, at Fort George, they do offer ghost walks, but also there is the Niagara-on-the-Lake ghost walks. They have been doing this for many, many years. Just come by this place here. It's right next to the grocery store. Also, make sure you check out their website for dates and times when they are doing the ghost walks. It is one of the best ghost walks you can do here in the Niagara region. Alright, just before we leave Niagara-on-the-Lake, we cannot forget about Fort George. When the Americans captured Fort George back in the War of 1812, they actually torched the whole fort except for the magazine bunker where all the ammunition was stored. So they do offer ghost walks. Make sure you Google Ghost Walks Fort George. There is a website just dedicated for the ghost walks. I've done them in the past, and I've always found doing the last ones of the evening has been a little bit better, because sometimes you're not rushed, got a little more time to ask some questions and stuff like that. Okay, our next stop here on our haunted tour of Niagara will be down in Fort Erie here at the fort. They do ghost walk tours. Just make sure you check their website for dates and times. Definitely a lot of haunted history here at the fort in Fort Erie. Alright, our next stop is down here in Fort Erie. And this is Birdie Hall. Also, at one time, known as the Dollhouse. The reason why it got that name, at one time it housed a variety of different dollhouses. And there was a lot of paranormal activity related to a lot of the different dollhouses that were in here. They have been all removed. This is one place I've always wanted to investigate, but unfortunately I've never had the chance to. Niagara Parks does own the building, so it is a little hard to get in here to do an investigation. Inside, in the basement, there is a tunnel which has connections to the Underground Railway. They would take boats over from the New York side, come over to the shores here, and the tunnel was just across the street. Numerous occasions I've looked for the tunnel to see if I could find the access, but unfortunately have not found it. So the tunnel starts over there and leads underneath the street right here into Birdie Hall. Okay, we made it to the Niagara Parkway here, and right now we are standing on the battlefield, and this is actually where the Battle of Chippewa was fought back in 1814. Great place to do a little EVP session or even a ghost box session. Just remember the road, it is not very far, so you will pick up some road traffic every now and then. And also just be mindful too, there is a house nearby, so so after all these years, the rules have not changed. And you still can't use a catapult out here or fire off any torpedoes. Just a heads up, you are allowed to park here from 6 a.m. to midnight. There is a house right across from the battlefield, so please be mindful and try to not disturb the neighbors. Okay, our next stop in our haunted tour of Niagara will be the Drummond Hill Cemetery. Back in the War of 1812, the Battle of Lundy's Lane was fought here between the American soldiers and the British soldiers. This has been known for many years to have a lot of paranormal activity. Okay, let's take a walk through the Drummond Hill Cemetery. I'm going to point out a few different things as we do our walkthrough, and also I'm going to show you a piece of land. A lot of people, when they come here and they do a paranormal investigation, they kind of really don't spend any time at this one location. So let's take a little walk through the Drummond Hill Cemetery. Now, I believe it is this tree or this tree over here where there has been reports of paranormal activity. Some people at night will hear a soldier crying or a woman. And like I said, throughout the cemetery, there's a lot of memorials and also the information plaques scattered through the cemetery here. And as you can hear a motorcycle going by, do keep in mind Lundy's Lane is right there, so you will have a lot of road traffic at any time of the day. Now, right across the street from the cemetery, that house is known as the Battlefield Museum. It is open during seasonal times. I would always wanted to get in there, do an investigation, but unfortunately we've never gotten permission, so, but you never know. But yeah, like I was saying with Lundy's Lane, road's right here. So if you are doing a investigation here, just remember you will have road noise when you come over to this area here. So here in Drummond Hill Cemetery, there is one person buried here, which when we say her name, a lot of people do think of chocolates. And I am talking, of course, about Laura Secord, who basically walked for 30 miles to let the British know of an impending attack by the Americans. And she is buried here at Drummond Hill Cemetery. She lived to be 93 years old. More information plaques here. Okay, as I mentioned when we first arrived here at Drummond Hill Cemetery, there is one area a lot of people do not investigate, and it is a great spot for an EVP session or even a ghost box session. So when I found out this chunk of land was part of the battlefield, I started doing some EVP sessions and some ghost box sessions here. Did pick up couple of EVPs, but really not much. But you never know with the paranormal. Some nights things are crazy, and some nights things are quiet. All right, we're gonna end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed your tour of haunted Niagara locations. Just hope you guys get out there, do some investigating, you know, see what you could find, see if you can get an EVP or even something on the ghost box session. So all right guys, I appreciate if you guys would hit that subscribe button, also that like button, and as always, I will see everybody down the road.